Welcome to Vauxhall, a podcast production of Learned and Laughter. This episode of Vauxhall features a discussion on wastewater management with engineer Solomon Noy. Vauxhall's discussions on governance are produced in partnership with Empowering Good Governance, also known as Egg Magazine, an online publication to be found at www.eggmagazine.net. That is www.eggmagazine.net. This episode's guest, Engineer Solomon Noy, is the Director of Waste Management for the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Mr. Noy started his education at the Accra'S School of Hygiene and continued to pursue a degree in environmental science at KNUST. He went on to pursue a master's degree in water and sanitation engineering. Thereafter, Engineer Noy gained a scholarship to study at the Institute of Hydraulic Engineering in the Netherlands. He graduated with a double master's in water and sanitation engineering, as well as sanitary engineering. Solomon Noy has been in active public service for 22 years. We now join Ekem Amunulatson, the host and producer of Vauxhall, with his guest, Engineer Solomon Noy.
Yes, I know Jolu is a very interesting location because also whatever runoff comes from the Legon Hills goes there. And most people don't understand that, yes, Jolu is basically a drainage basin, like you said.
So the meaning is Inga, jaw, drain, wulu, gigantic. So it's a pig. Anybody who speaks Ga, you ask, what's the meaning of jaw? They will tell you.
All right. So now, in order to wrap this up, what are some of the best practices you would like to see happen? What sort of good news can you tell us? What would you want to plead to people in making your job more, efficient, more productive?
Yes. So from where I sit, I don't think the problems we are facing in terms of flooding, waste management, liquid waste challenges are beyond our control. We can equally solve them. Because, yes, when it comes to expertise, I always say that we don't lack at all. The type of experts we have helping other countries to develop, you have no idea how many Ghanaians are making those impacts. Some of us would have run away all the way. But when you come to think of it, if we all run, we will be left to at least guide the few to do something. So yes, I want to see engineering solutions being applied to solve our problems. The areas have already been built up. There's nothing we can do about it because the cost of safeguard issues that will come in by way of settling them, demolishing their structures, relocating them, will be too much for any government to bear. So with the current situation, what can we do? I would want us to apply technology. Technology, currently we have what we call trenchless technology, where you can drill underground storm drains without necessarily demolishing the structures. You can go very deep under the structure, create a very big weir, for the water to flow into that depression, transport it all the way to the final outfall that you want. Just that some few structures may have to go wherever you want to create a manhole to be able to access the tunnel. You understand? And that is a huge infrastructural investment I'm talking about. Yeah. But once you are able to do that, you don't just do that, but make sure that you do not allow all the runoff water that will be collected subsurface to flow into the sea. Because water is a fugitive. Once you leave it, it is not standing there waiting for you to flow into the sea. Mm-hmm. And when it flows into the sea, it doesn't make sense for us to be putting up desalination plants to get the fresh water from the salty water to treat it. We are not in the Mediterranean. Because once you allow all the water to flow, your vegetation cover will be lost because the plants will not get enough water to sustain them, and with time we will deplete the underground water. So you do that and get the same engineering solution to bring the collected water back up to flood areas which, like the forests, and you channel them back into the forest. For instance, Achimota Forest is right in Accra. And that serves as a carbon sink for all the Accra and beyond. You understand? So once you do this, you must find a way of doing the hydraulics and channel the flow back into the forest. The forest is vast, the water will now take time to flood the forest and take time to recede. And definitely once it finds way anywhere within the groundwater aquifer, it will be distributed evenly within the aquifer. And then we would have saved it being lost into the sea. Secondly, earlier on, I proposed that any storm water drain within the communities, 30 centimeters between the edge of the drain and beyond, must be used as a buffer. Exactly. And then the wire mesh fence put just at the edge of the 30 centimeters. Then we currently we are doing Green Ghana. If we are able to do that and clear the buffer of all these storm drains and move all the settlements and structures off, move all of them there, we do landscaping, where the Parks and Gardens department will come in, the forestry department will come in, then we plant specific species that will serve as a means of getting the siltation into the drain ceased permanently. So once you do that, now what do you do with the waste? One good news is World Bank is now helping, especially Accra, through what we call the Garrett project. And it's over $200 million project. And making sure that the Odo Basin is protected from infiltration of waste. So we can leverage on that and make sure that we put in place integrated solutions in our solid waste management, such that we will up our game. And then our waste collection and transportation efficiency will be increased from the current 70% to like 95%. The most difficult one now will be the plastics that will fly even beyond the fence that I'm proposing. So what do? We will be left with two options. Either we ban the use of single-use plastics, or for the economics, we allow it to stay, but we put in place extended EPR, extended producer responsibility schemes, to levy the importers of these plastics to be able to manage. By in so doing, we should start practicing what we call source separation of waste, at least wet waste from dry waste. I'm saying so because once you take the organic waste out of our waste, it will no longer contaminate the rest of the other waste. And then it will go through the circular economy system. Those who are interested in plastics will take them through incineration and generate electricity. Those who are interested in paper will take them back into producing the toilet rolls, the cardboards, and other things. And it will save the forest from cutting more trees to be producing paper. You understand? But currently, because we are mixing everything together, the paper will come all right, but it is soiled with oil, red palm oil. And who will want to clean the palm oil from paper before processing it? No. You will be making too much losses. The same applies to the plastics. It will come with all sorts of things. The cost of cleaning them up before putting them back into production will not make economic sense. If you put in incineration plants, our moisture content is way beyond 50%, even though the calorific value is around 7.3 megajoules per kilogram, which is good for incineration. But you must take out the moisture from it, else you'll be spending energy to burn the water.
Yes.
And that is why nobody will want to. These are the engineering facts. So, yes, nationwide or the major cities, Accra, Kumasi, Tamale, Takoradi, should start doing source separation. But government must invest in the infrastructure to take up the source separated waste. Else, what sense does it make for me to separate it in my home and you bring one truck and box everything into the truck? You are insulting my intelligence. You understand what I'm saying? So you put the infrastructure in place before you implement that, and it will become a law. Once it becomes a law, you are obliged to separate your waste, at least into 2 streams. When you do that, little will be left to flow into the drain. So should there be even flooding, despite all the engineering solutions I'm proposing, definitely there will be some floods. But you are sure that it will be clean water that will be flooded. All the major cities, we see America, Europe, UK and the rest being flooded. Do we see attendant effects like diseases following? No, because their systems are well in place. Whenever it floods, it is just pure water. Even when there should be a landslide, it is muddy water that will flow, devoid of waste. So these are the things we must take so that before the World Bank will exhaust those funding, government must make sure we leverage on the Garrett project to put in an integrated means of managing our solid waste so that more waste will not be left uncollected to flow into the sewer lines, into the drains, and we always go back and forth when it comes to issues of flooding.
In conclusion, one of the things that keeps circulating in my mind is if there was a way to collect the water at the foothills of the Equapim range and put in those deep subterranean pumps and pipes, you're saying that would really help a lot.
So the siting is key.
Okay.
You see, the hydraulics technically will not permit that because of the pressure that will be involved. If you create these ponds very close beneath the hills, it means you must do the engineering, the design, such that whatever flow that is coming uphill, the pressure will be able to there will be too much wear and tear along the mountain slopes that will flow back into, and then there will be what do we call
a reservoir,
something like a whirlwind that will be created in the pool of water underground.
As it comes in. Okay.
I don't know whether.
No, I get you.
I'm trying my best to calm down.
And say it in layman's terms.
It will create something like a whirlwind.
Like a vortex.
In the water, correct. And so naturally, as God made it, you see the distance where Jowulu and the likes are, and look at where the Eburi mountains are.
Yes.
It goes a little before the water settles. Naturally. And we, in our wisdom, defy that. Oh, can you close the door? Yes. So that is it. So it means the engineers, the hydrogeologists, and then the hydraulic engineers will have to look at.
Sorry, let me just pause.
Yes, the engineers and the hydrogeologists and then the hydraulics will have to be looked at. A simulation will have to be done. Currently, we already know the flow. So currently, we've already done the hydraulic modeling. If you go to the Hydrological Services Department, the AESL, we have all those calculations already. But when it comes to the implementation of the infrastructure, that is where we have to take a very critical look at, in order not to create a problem in trying to solve a problem. Because if you don't do that, and you create a pond too close,
to the hills.
to the hills. What you'll be doing in effect is you are now eating slowly beneath the hills as a result of the. And before you say Jack,
There'll be a landslide.
There will be a landslide.
Because the base is weak.
And that will happen maybe 100, 200 years later.
Exactly.
And you cannot go back. You would have killed, murdered.
Exactly.
That's the engineering.
Okay.
So it must move a little far. Then you create it and then find ways of, because we know our topography. We can do our surveying and we know where our depressions are. We know where they are built up. We know where we can channel them. If for nothing, why can't we channel them back into the Lake Volta River? So that whether the Bagri Dam is closed or not, we will have constant water flow for our Akosombo Dam. These are things we can do. They are not rocket science.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's been it's been an education, and we thank you for that. I'm sure hopefully someday we'll come back again and talk about other things. But yes, I really appreciate it. Another time I would like to come back and maybe talk about waste management, solid waste management. That's another issue. It also feeds into the issues you have with stormwater in the first place because of the letter and all that. But thanks for the time. I've known you for quite a while, and you've always been very, very courteous to us. So thank you so much. All right.
This podcast has been a production of Learned in Laughter. Vauxhall is a podcast which, among other topics, tackles the ways and means by in which we govern ourselves. Learned in Laughter's Vauxhall is affiliated with Empowering Good Governance magazine, an online publication to be found at www.egg, as in egg, magazine.net.